Hello students, welcome back on my channel. I hope you guys are learning from my videos. Today our discussion topic is third school of thought, that is behaviorism. Behaviorism was promoted by John B. Watson. In 1913, a Buddhist movement intended to shatter the image of previous Buddhist schools. This revolutionary movement is called behaviorism. It was promoted by 35-year-old psychologist John B. Watson. The basic tenets of Watson's behaviorism were simple, direct, and bold. He called for a scientific psychology that dealt only with observable behavioral acts that could be described objectively in terms of stimulus and response. Watson's psychology would reject pseudo-mentalistic concepts and terms, but according to him, such words as image, sensation, mind, and consciousness were meaningless for a science of behavior. He said that consciousness had no value for behavioral psychologists. He said that consciousness had never been seen, touched, smelled, tasted, or moved, so therefore introspection became irrelevant. As in science of behavior, psychology would deal only with acts that could be described objectively. Basically, Watson treated three major topics: instincts, emotions, and thoughts. So let's move to the protection and control. Watson elaborated a stimulus-response psychology. He stated the goal of psychology as the protection of control of behavior. He described psychology from the standpoint of behaviorism is concerned with the protection and control of human action and not with an analysis of consciousness. So overall, he talked about the stimulus and response. I am sharing Watson as 4 types of behavior. The first type is explicit learned behavior, such as talking, writing, playing baseball. The second is implicit learned behavior, such as the increased heart rate caused by the sight of road accident. The third is explicit unlearned behavior, such as grasping, blanking, and sneezing. The fourth is implicit unlearned behavior, such as glandular secretion and irregulatory changes. So Watson had to reduce language of some of fear, rage, love, and the interesting thing is here all the adult emotions such as hate, pride, jealousy, and shame are derived from fear, rage, and love. Watson made psychology more objective in methods and terminology. New behaviorism. New behaviorism is the second stage of evolution of behavior. Watson's behaviorism was the first stage of behaviorism in the evolution of behavioral school of thought. New behaviorism started 1930 to 1960, and there is great role of Dolman, Hall, Skinner. Thus, all new behaviorists agreed on several points which are as follows. The core of psychology is the study of learning. Most behavior can be accounted for by the laws of conditioning. Psychology must adopt the principle of operationism. So the third stage in behaviorism evolution. New behaviorism, socio-behaviorism, dated from 1960 to the present. This stage includes the work of Pentier and Roeder. So let's see the works of Edward S. Dolman. So Dolman's approach to behaviorism is presented in his work Purposive Behavior in Sonimals and Men. His term purposive behaviorism, a system combining the objective study of behavior with the consideration of purposiveness. Dolman rejected introspection like Watson. According to Dolman, both the initiating causes of behavior and the final resulting behavior must be capable of objective observation and operational definition. So in short, Dolman proposed a cognitive explanation for learning. Dolman called these learned relationships. Science Gestalt's Dolman is also considered as a forerunner of contemporary cognitive psychology, so his work had great impact on problems of learning and his concept of intervening variable. So now let's have a look at the work of Hull. Clark Hull and his followers dominated American psychology from the 1940s until the 1960s. His form of behaviorism was more sophisticated and complex than Watson. He introduced fourth method for scientific research, as already three methods were widely in use. New look at the work of B.G. Skinner. He was the world's most influential psychologist for decades, who made a permanent mark on psychology. He is considered leading figure in behavior science of this century. Skinner advocated an empirical system with no theoretical framework within which to conduct research. He differentiated between respondent and operant behavior. Skinner's purely descriptive behaviorism has been called with empty organism approach. So what was the criticism? So criticism of Skinner's behaviorism has been directed towards his extreme positivism and opposition to theory. Now look at the word of Pantura. Pantura's social cognitive theory is a less extreme form of behaviorism. His research focus was to observe the behavior of human subjects in interactions. Pantura's system is cognitive as well as behavioral. He agrees with Skinner's that human behavior can be changed through reinforcement. So it was a brief outlook. Now look at the work of Rother. Rother was the first psychologist to use the term social learning theory. He developed a cognitive form of behaviorism. Rother's laboratory research was rigorous and well-controlled, typical of the behaviorist movement. Pantura, Rother, and the other new behaviorists who support the cognitive approach still consider themselves behaviorists. So this was all about behaviorism. In next lecture, we will learn Gestalt school of thought. I hope you people have clearly understood. Thanks, stay tuned for more updates and take care.